Hello family, welcome back to another episode of the Startup CEO Lifestyle TV. I hope and pray that you had an amazing holiday season, that it was blissful, fun, exciting, and enjoyable, and that you are ready to boss up, CEO up in 2022. So today's episode, we're going to talk about what I learned as my first year as an Airbnb host. We started our hosting really in June of last year. We've been property managers for quite some time, for about 28 years, and we decided to take the leap in the jump and to start an Airbnb business. Now, our property management business and our Airbnb business are totally two different vehicles that we operate. Sometimes they kind of commingle themselves depending on where we're located and the property amenities and things of that nature. So it's been a great ride, I must say. We actually, to have started the business full-fledged throttle in June of 2021 and to end it on December 31st where we thought we did pretty good overall when we compare it to the other aspects of the businesses that we operate. So today I want to give you 8 things that I've learned as an Airbnb host, because a lot of people are going to sell you the dream of being a host, and it's really not that easy. I'm just going to be full-fledged honest with you, because as I mentioned, I've been managing property. We've been property managers for 28 years, in the business of real estate for 28 years. And I would say that in some aspects, Airbnb was a little bit more challenging for multiple reasons. And some of the things that I'm going to give you that I learned will kind of clarify what I'm speaking of. So the first thing that I want to share with you, when you're getting your Airbnb listing and you're putting it up, I'll do a separate video on that, but I'm just going to share with you first of all, the things I learned. So I'm going to tell you the things that you need to do to get a full-fledged profitable business up and running. But this one right here, I'm telling you the things I learned. Number one, people do not read. What do I mean by people do not read? Clearly, it's as simple as it can be. People do not read. They see one thing, or they think they see one thing, and read something else. They see what they want to read. They see what they want to experience. No matter how much information that you put in your listing, they will literally think it's something different. I've worked with people that are interested in starting Airbnbs, profitable Airbnbs. And I was talking to one of my clients the other day, and she stated that the person that rented her Airbnb thought that they were having her whole house. She just rented a section of her house, but they thought they had the whole house. And it clearly states in her Airbnb listing that it's just a room. That's what I mean. People don't read. When you tell people that they only are going to get this, they think they're going to get that. And that's why it's so important when I'm sharing with people about being profitable, being successful, becoming a superhost. You need to make sure that your listing is clear, that there's no misunderstanding, that the clarity is as crystal clear as a piece of glass. And the reason why is because that affects your ratings. And as a host, you can't, what people say about you matters. Not all of it is true, though. In some aspects, especially some people will just, because they don't understand the system and how it operates, they just say whatever. But you have to be honest with your listing, and you have to be clear as crystal and glass so people understand what they're getting. That's number one. People don't read, so you have to make it less confusing for them. Number two, not all guests are created equal. Now, I must tell you, for the most part, out of over the 170 something stays that we've had, and most of our people stay long term because they come from our property management part of the business, our short-term rental corporate housing, and they kind of slide over to Airbnb, or we met them on Airbnb. And then they came back and booked with us again or whatnot. But not all guests are created equal. And we've been blessed to have some amazing guests. I would say out of all the people that we've hosted, we probably have had maybe 1 or 2 that I'm like, why did they come stay with us? Why didn't they choose somebody else? And the first person, they just didn't follow the house rules. They were there. They didn't read them. And that's why one thing that we really clarify before we accept their listing, did you read the house rules? Did you read them? Do you understand them? Because if you don't, then that means you're breaking the house rules. We want people to have a great, enjoyable stay. We want to host you. We want to be happy about hosting you. But not all guests are created equal. And you can, let me clarify that you can decide who you want to host or not. Especially if it depends on how you have your listing set up. But you have to be honest with yourself and with the guests. I mean, I don't want to host everyone. I don't want everybody coming to my business. Why? Because again, all guests are not created equal. You'll get some good ones and you'll get some bad ones and you'll get some that are horror stories. And I'm thankful that we have not had many. Like I said, we've had 2 that I can literally remember back to the day that they booked to the day that they left, that we were in a hurry, excited when their booking ended. And that goes even with the property management business. You know, we've had some great tenants and we've had some horrible ones. Some that I'm like, I'm ready for them to go. Like, let them go right now. I hurry up and wish their lease is over. So it's really important that, you know, you pay attention to who you're hosting and, you know, why they want to come to your property. Because not all guests are created equal. And one bad guest can not only put a bad taste in your mouth, but can literally make you feel bad about the business as a whole. And could literally, to be honest with you, in some instances, kind of destroy your business. Because that's how the system is set up. So pay attention to who you are allowing to rent your property. Again, I don't want to be everybody's coach. I don't want to be everybody's person they go to for business. I don't want to host everybody. I don't even want everybody staying in my property. I want the right people. And I feel blessed that I'm able to choose the right people based upon a synergistic effect that I get. And the universe just tells me, hey, that person is good. Hey, that person is bad. Okay. I got another story that I'm going to tell y'all a little later about property management. Number 3, be unforgiving of your prices. I can't tell you how many times people come into my, they book and with an inquiry, and then they ask, can I rent your place for $1,000? No. And I have no problem saying no. Why? Because if my expenses exceed what you're trying to pay for to rent my property, and this is on the property management side and the Airbnb side, no. Because I'm not going to go into debt so you can have an experience in my property. And when they are asking for discounts, majority of the time, they're a problem tenant. On the property management side and even on the Airbnb side, when they are asking for discounts, they're more than likely going to be a problem tenant. And I don't need your problems, because I'm going to give you some problems. Okay. Yes, you got to be firm. You can't. I see some people lowering their prices so much just so they can get guests through the door. And then later on, them regretting they did that. I would literally rather pay for my space than to give anybody the opportunity to come in and destroy it. It's just not that serious. I'd rather write it off as a tax deduction that I lost income versus getting a problem in there and somebody not being a great person to rent the space. So don't be so quick to lower your prices. Stay firm on your prices with no apologies. Business will be great. Before, customer service can make or break you. What do I mean by this? You know, in every business that I do, you know, you're going to make some people mad. Some people are going to make you mad. But first and foremost, you have to always think of the customer. I don't think every customer is right. I'm just being honest. Every customer is right, and we're not always right. But I'm going to make the best decision for the business. I'm going to make the best decision for the business. And then the customer is a part of that business, which is on top. The customer's on top. So the business is on top, then the customer, because I'm going to make the best decision for the business as it relates to the customer. And I'm going to make sure that I give A1 customer service. And in every review that we get is always great customer service, because I'm always constantly communicating with people. Somebody on my team is always constantly communicating with the guests. And that is so key and so important, because if a guest comes, you can kind of tell about their persona. If they come and they never talk to you after they rent the property, reach out to them and ask them how things going. Because see, what they'll do is wait to the end and say you never communicated with them. You give them communication. You want to always be on the forefront of being first to do things. You want to always be not and forgiving in some aspects, but also staying firm. Because customers, some of them know how to take advantage of a situation, and you cannot allow that to happen to you. So customer service can make or break you. And we truly believe that our success in business for 28 years on every level as it relates to real estate has been because of customer service. Sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes the customer's wrong. And we have no problem with saying when we're wrong. We will make sure that we go out of the way to first, as I mentioned, protect our business, but then make sure that customer service is up there with the business expertise as well. Number 5, understand your market, your codes, and your municipalities. If you're not in the right market, it probably won't be a success for you. If you don't know the codes, you're probably going to get shut down. If you don't know the municipalities, they can run you out of business. So those things are so really important when thinking about becoming an Airbnb host. I've seen plenty of people it happen to. I've seen people get into situations they didn't know how to get up. I've seen people lie. When you lie in business, when you lie in life, things don't come back too well for you. So I always make sure that I let people know what we're doing with the property in advance, so that there's no second guessing, so that there's no questioning to say, you didn't tell me that. I make sure it's in writing how we're going to market your property. So understanding your market, your codes, and your municipalities can save you money. It can also keep you in business, and it can also, if you don't understand, put you out of business. Number 6, know how to pivot in slow seasons. I think this is what a lot of people, especially new business owners, get tied up in. They don't know how to pivot when it's slow. When it's slow, we look to do other things. Like I said, our primary goal is to get people in our properties for long term. And with our properties on the short term rental side, we only rent to them for 28 days. And that's why it's so important to know the codes in the municipality, how long you can rent to people. And that's what it allows us to do, rent to 28 days. So if they want to stay longer than 28 days, then we'll start a new lease with them. But it's no consistent long lease, no 3-4 month lease, not on our short term rental. Now on our long term rental property, they can rent up from 6 months to a year. And we do that purposely because we want to make sure we like you too. We want to make sure that we're getting good guests in our properties, that they're going to take care of the properties, that we don't have to keep coming over there to fix something. When we're renting houses, we want those people to treat that house like it's their home. And when you treat it like it's your home, we'll support you in that effort. If you're just over there breaking things so we can come over there and fix them, no thank you. We'll make sure that when your lease is up that you're gone. Short-term rental side, if you consistently got issues and problems and stuff, your lease won't last that long. It's a twofold business aspect when you're doing business, especially when you're renting property. So know how to pivot in slow seasons. And in slow seasons, you have to know how to get money like you did in fast seasons. So what do you do and how do you do it? Perhaps maybe you need to change your business practice. Perhaps you need to market and advertise on different platforms. Perhaps you need to speak to more people. Perhaps you need to showcase your property more. There are so many different ways that you can pivot in slow seasons to make sure that you keep up with the income that you had before. Number 7, SUPERHOST is really a big deal. People will tell you all the time, SUPERHOST don't matter. Yes, it does. Why? Because it gets you up in the ranking. It gets you and keep you in the ranking. Now, I can't honestly say that it has enabled us to get more guests, but I can honestly say that it has enabled us to get more guests, because I've had people to come to tell me that we booked you exclusively because you are a SUPERHOST. Some people it matters to, some people it doesn't matter to. It just depends on the clientele that you plan to pursue. And so we want that elevated client. We don't want just anybody living in our properties. We want people, first of all, that can afford to stay there. We want people there that are used to the wonderful accommodation, the luxury accommodations that we provide. And we want people to be happy while they're staying with us. And so SUPERHOST status really does matter, because not only that you get the support from Airbnb, you get a boost in your rankings. And I'm going to tell you, when people go to your site, it looks good. And how many people don't want to look good? First impressions are lasting impressions. And so I hope these tips have enabled you to think about this business differently. When I'm helping people to start the process of becoming a host, we break down all the scenarios. And I think after being in property management for 28 years and being a successful host, Airbnb qualified SUPERHOST status 2 times, that we're able to give these suggestions. And the people that I've helped, the people helping myself in our company, we've been successful as well. So thank you so much. If you like real estate, anything dealing with real estate, don't forget to hit that like button. Leave me a comment below about the things that I've shared with you. If you are a host, if you are interested in becoming a host, if you got questions or anything of that, don't forget to hit my link because you get a discount with Airbnb. And not only that, if you become a host, you get some bang for your buck as well. So go below in the description, click all those links, send me a message, send me a comment to let me know where you are. And if you're thinking about doing something different like hosting in 2022, and I can help you with that. My name is Nichelle, and I am the Startup CEO, helping you to start, market, grow, and profit in your life and in your business. Make it a great, blessed, and profitable 2022. I'll talk with you soon. Blessings and peace. Bye.